Warning: this video contains mature sexual content. Viewer discretion is advised. Chapter 6: Uncharted Territory. As for Ruby, she went on a good, long run, enjoying the safety Chomper and the mysterious island provided. Being a half-tooth, though leaning more toward the greens, the lush land provided her with plenty to eat. Her favorite spot was where the sweet bubbles grew, Chomper showing it to her and saying it was hers to keep. Plucking a few off, she ate some and brought a cluster along on her stroll. When she saw the bright circle set, she returned to see what Chomper was up to, finding him leaving the water, obviously eating his meal of fish. Though he staggered, swaying, appearing exhausted, instead of eating the mouthful, he set it on the beach. "Chomper, you okay? All right, are you?" Ruby asked, rushing over to reach up to his tired face. "Are you sick? Ill you must be, for you're not eating." "Oh, I'm fine. This is for our guests. I've been catching up with some friends." "Friends?" Along the beach, Screech and Thud came, going to the pile and chowing down. "Screech and Thud? Since when were they your friends?" Ruby stuck close to Chomper, eyeing the pair up. "Last I checked, they were not our friends, but they were our enemies." "Well, they kind of work with me, as they did with Red Claw. So they'll be here for a while, helping patrol the land path." "Is something wrong?" "Given I'm the new alpha, there may be challengers, those who wish to take the spot as top Sharptooth, meaning we might be in danger. You might be in danger." Ruby saw Chomper get worked up, tapping his claws nervously. "Chomper, you got this. I believe in you. I see you." Tenderly she hugged him, snapping him out of his worried state. "No matter what life throws at us, we'll be okay so long as we stick together, for together we give each other strength." "Yeah, you're probably right." He took a steady breath, looking down into her lovely eyes. "Ruby, they say there's a guy. I don't know who he is, but he wants to be the alpha. Guess having a wimpy leader doesn't sit well with this dude." "Whomever this challenger is, you'll beat them." Ruby took Chomper's hands. "You beat Red Claw, didn't you? Did you not win against him?" "Yeah, but that was dumb luck." "No, it's because you fight with your heart instead of your ego. Fight for what you care for." He gave a nod, feeling her embrace him. Slowly he held her back, feeling his racing heart calm. All the while he hoped he'd be enough, that his secret weapon would be enough. That night they went to their sleeping spot, Chomper having a hard time drifting off to sleep. The voice called, but Ruby's warmth and soft breathing lulled him, and he dozed off. The next day, Chomper practiced with his new gift, Thud coaching him while Screech went to watch the land path. Alone in the jungle with Thud, Chomper found he no longer needed Screech to yell at him, able to gain a bit of control over his abilities. In a short amount of time, too. He moved up from lifting small rocks to boulders, even yanking a tree from the earth and tossing it far. Gaining a proud pat from Thud, Chomper saw the fast biter smile up at him. "Nice job, boss. You sure are making progress." "Thanks. I'm glad Screech doesn't have to yell to motivate me." "Have you ever heard of such a thing? Someone being able to move things without touching them?" Thud rubbed his chin, looking Chomper over. "No, never. And then again, I never heard of a Sharptooth who could speak plant eater." With a tender smile, Thud gave a small chuckle. "You're just full of surprises, kid. You did good. Why not take it easy the rest of the day? Go off and be with that fast runner." "You mean it?" "Well, you're the boss." "Okay, see you around, Thud." Chomper took off running into the thicket. Thud only shook his head, going off to find Screech. While they parted ways, Chomper wanted to spend the rest of his day with Ruby. On his way, he plucked a few flowers, finding her and making his presence known. "Chomper, Done training for the day? Ruby asked, walking over to him. With a shrug, he kept the flowers behind his back. Yeah, so I figured we enjoy it. Pulling out the bouquet, he offered them to her. For you, my love. Oh, Chomper, they're lovely. Ruby sniffed them and took a bite out of one. They're my favorite. I figured so, Chomper spoke, feeling shy while he shuffled his foot to the ground. It was funny how he still blushed and felt like he was young and discovering his feelings for her. I have something for you too. Ruby took his hand, leading the way. Through the jungle they went. Their shadows moved across the ground, large and small, holding hands and moving swiftly. With a smile, Chomper let her lead. What surprise she had in store he didn't know. All he cared about was being with her, for he noticed she was a bit more affectionate, nuzzling close while they slept together. Not to mention she gave off a different scent, one that put him on edge. Not in a bad way, but a good way, one that made him want to cuddle and kiss her, be close to her. Flushing to himself, he tried to focus, to keep it together. Ruby looked back to see Chomper smile, his eyes sparkling. How she loved Chomper, enjoyed seeing him grin, knowing they'd be together for years to come. It was also that time of year when she felt warm and desired a tender touch. Only this time she was with him, the one she imagined during a certain time she was alone and left to her thoughts. Before they reached the spot, she gestured for him to close his eyes, wanting to surprise him. Now, don't peek. Sneaking a look is not something you should do. I won't, Ruby. He gave a nod and did so, allowing her to guide him. They took a few steps, Ruby pausing and speaking. Okay, open them. You're allowed to see now. Chomper did so, finding she made a nest around a nice area. Flowers were in blossom, and the vines dangled overhead, creating a romantic spot. Ruby went to sit, patting for him to join her. Nervous, yet not wanting to disappoint her, Chomper went to her. You did this? Yes, I hope you like it. It's great, wonderful. He slowly sat by her, feeling her move close to him. Chomper, I know it's impossible for us to be official, but we can still be close, right? Ruby asked, hand going to run along his skin. Swallowing, he nodded. Yeah, but Ruby, I don't know how. I have never. He trailed off, lowering his head. I feel so stupid. If it makes you feel better, I've never either. Least, not with anyone but myself, Ruby stated, feeling a bit warm. Chomper held a confused look, obviously not knowing about self-pleasing. With a small sigh, she went on. Mom told me about that stuff, but I never met anyone I wanted to try it with. Least, not until I met you again. Chomper ran his knuckles across her cheek, seeing something was different about her, knowing she desired more. The question was, could he give her that? She made the first move, taking his face and kissing him. Her hands roamed down his neck, resting upon his chest, feeling his heart pounding. He lay back, his hands holding her side, remaining there. It was a bit comical looking, Ruby sitting upon his stomach, taking the lead and keeping her beak locked to his maw. Tail sweeping back and forth, Chomper enjoyed making out, knowing it was a new step for them. Yes, they gave a small peck here and there, cuddled, but making out seemed to be the next thing, holding tight to one another, sharing sweet kisses. Then it happened. Chomper felt a stirring going on in a different area, one he didn't know would respond in such a way. Ruby? Chomper asked, pulling away and feeling her nuzzle and kiss his neck. Are you enjoying this? Liking this, are you, Chomper? Yeah, I think so, he answered, feeling warm. Are you all right? Did I accidentally bite you? No, it's just, well, I don't know how to say it. Flushing, he curled up and wrapped his tail around his lower half, feeling the weird sense. Her eyes scanned him over, noticing his discomfort came from one area. When she figured it out, she smiled knowingly. Chopper, that's a normal feeling to have. She took his face, seeing he was embarrassed. You don't have to be upset. It's not bad? No. In fact, I'm flattered that I can arouse you. You excite me too. I do? Yes, you do. If you don't want to go on, we'll stop and rest. I have some questions. My folks never went over the flyers and the flowers with me, if you catch my drift. Chomper sat up, looking upward at the gaps between the trees. I can't believe I have to ask you about such things. It's embarrassing. There's nothing to be ashamed of. Ashamed you shouldn't feel. Nuzzling him, she leaned her head against his side. I think it's best to talk about it together. Perhaps, maybe, we can find our own way to be intimate. Did it get warm suddenly? Chomper asked, fanning himself. With a laugh, Ruby found it cute how naive Chomper was to such adult subjects. Of course, she was no expert, but she knew enough to explain it to him. If anything, it was more uncomfortable for him than her. After all, she clarified a good deal for him growing up, so for her, it wasn't weird. Wow. Guess that's how eggs are made, huh? Yep. Anything else you'd like to know while we're at it? His eyes were low for the longest time, looking at her with a small smile. I wish we could be close in such a way. Not that it's important. I simply want to please you. Be enough. You are enough for me, Chomper, and always will be. I see you. Slowly, they leaned close, Chomper lapping her neck and pushing her back. Holding himself up, he planted kisses upon Ruby's cheek and shoulder, moving down. He paused when she made a new sound, making him worried he had hurt her. Ruby, are you okay? Yes, that was a happy yell. Happy yell? When my parents were mating, I recall hearing it and wondering why they made such noise. My mom said it was a happy yell, so if I do sound a bit different, know it's because I'm happy. Oh, okay. You'll let me know if you don't like it, right? Of course. Good. He returned to nuzzling her, getting an idea, and moving down, keeping his eyes locked on her. Ruby leaned back, surprised by how far down he went to a more sensitive area of her body. His muzzle lay between her legs, his eyes never straying from her own, as if asking if it were all right to proceed, to which she nodded. Growing warm, she felt her chest rise and fall, unable to believe Chomper was pleasing her, fulfilling her desire. Purring, Chomper found that he was getting excited by the sounds Ruby produced, knowing it was he who thrilled her. Instead of ignoring the sensation, he let it flow and gave in to desire. We'll do it all, everything on our own. We don't need anything or anyone. If I lay here, if I just lay here, would you lie with me and just forget it all? I don't quite know how to say how I feel. Those 3 words are said too much. They're not enough. If I lay here, if I just lay here, would you lie with me and just forget it all? Forget what we're told. before we get too old. Show me a garden that's bursting into life. All that I am, all that I ever was, is here in your perfect eyes. They're all I can see. I don't know where, confused about how as well. Just know that these things will never change for us at all. Just know that these things will never change for us at all. Just know that these things will never change for us at all. If I lay here, if I just lay here, would you lie with me and just forget it all? Chomper swallowed a few times, meeting Ruby's satisfied gaze, feeling a bit of perspiration upon his brow. That was nice. Did you enjoy it, Ruby? Oh, believe me, Chomper, it was very nice for me. Ruby winked at him, kissing his muzzle and rubbing against him. I love you, Chomper. I love you too, Ruby. Let me show you again how much you mean to me. With a toothy grin, he nudged her back and went to rest his chin above her lower half. I must say, you taste wonderful. You're very funny. You know that? They both needed it, longed for a touch, a kiss, for more, to be one. Their pent-up urges were always placed on hold, fearful of how to go about it, yet curious to try. Now, after so long of being apart, after everything they'd been through, they let loose, gave into lust, and let it lead them to places unknown. Ruby's fingers ran along his muzzle, feeling dampness upon his skin, though he shivered, breathing heavily. You're trembling. I'll be okay, he whispered, running his hand over her body, a body he found to be so beautiful. Placing a kiss on him, Ruby nuzzled and lay her head upon him, feeling his arms hold her close. I am with you now and always, Chomper. We are mated for life. For a while they lay, taking in the night and warmth of each other. While the stars twinkled above, they were lost in the moment, sharing a special time as one.